Hey everyone, I do want to apologize for the 2 week hiatus. I've been very, very busy. I got a new job and I'm really enjoying it, and I will be posting a little bit more about that later. Um, but right now, I need to talk about something that happened on Sunday. I woke up and I looked at my phone, and there was a quite a few notifications from various news apps that I follow um, that said that on early on Sunday morning, around closing time, a gunman named Omar Mateen walked into Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, and killed 50 people and critically injured another 53. Um, and what is significant about this event is that Pulse is known as a safe haven for the queer community in Florida, particularly trans and Latino and slash Latina individuals. And I'm kind of at a loss for words of how to describe how I'm feeling, because I honestly thought we were done with this. I thought that we were done debating whether or not that the queer community had the right to live, um, and the right to be in spaces that are safe for them. But apparently we don't. Um, and it's becoming more and more clear as I'm seeing comments from people who are making jokes about this event and who are saying that this shooter, Omar Mateen, did a good thing by choosing gay people of all people. Um, and I think for me it's frightening that there are still people out there who think that I'm dirty or that I'm disgusting because of the fact that I'm a member of the queer community. And of course, we're seeing a lot of racial, xenophobic, and gun related conversations floating around. Omar Mateen, in case you haven't caught that, is a man of Afghani descent, sorry. And already the ISIS card has been pulled. I believe that it was found he had limited connections to some terrorist groups, but he did pledge allegiance to ISIS, or at least its leader, right before he began killing everyone there. Um, so that's a thing. And another thing that we've been talking about, like I said, has been gun control. Um, this is another thing that I thought we could maybe be done talking about, or at least we could end the conversation with a good resolution, but unfortunately it doesn't look that way, because already we're seeing pro-gun ownership activists coming out and saying that this isn't because of lax gun laws, this is because of a single individual act. But considering the fact that this is probably the third or fourth or even fifth incident I've heard of where a person has walked into a school or a movie theater or a nightclub and pulled a semi-automatic weapon that was designed for warfare on people who were just trying to have a good time and just trying to go about their daily lives. I think it's become more than just about individual actions, and I think it's always been more than just about individual action. And as an outsider that lives in a country where, as far as I know, we don't really have a problem like this, the last incident I can remember is the incident at the Polytechnic Institute in Quebec in the 80s. It's frightening. It's frightening that Canada and the United States are so close together, and yet we have, from my perspective, very vastly different gun-related incidents. We have very farther apart numbers of gun-related incidents. And there seems to be the recognition here that we do need gun laws, because gun laws are what keep people safe. And there may be people out there who disagree with me, and you are entitled to that. But as someone who is a member of the community that was targeted on Saturday morning. Um, I'm not so sure that I agree with people who say that people are going to get guns either way. You're not wrong, but I do truly believe that stronger gun laws would have helped in maybe preventing Omar Mateen from being able to get a semi-automatic weapon that was modified for civilian use that night. Um, and I also think that it's interesting that the United States seems to be having all these incidents, um, and one incident involved very young children, and yet the message still isn't clear that something needs to be done. And I'm wondering what it's going to take before something is done. And I also wonder at what point we're going to address the fact that had this not happened in June, this wouldn't have been a story that would have been reported on. As most of you know, June is Pride Month. So a lot of cities all over North America and the world are having their Pride events. What would have happened if this had happened in October or in January or in a month that was not focused on the queer community? Would we still be up in arms about it? Or would I have found this out from an underground news source? Would we be as focused on Omar Mateen's religion if his name were Owen, or if his parents weren't from Afghanistan? And would we be even more focused on it if it was all white, cisgendered, homosexual men as opposed to people of color? And it's also interesting that I've yet to see a vast majority of queer voices from mainstream news sources. Because I think at some point we need to acknowledge that we're not being heard, and that might be part of the problem. That might be part of the problem that we are having with so many trans women being killed and so many kids killing themselves, and with so many people who are saying that Omar Mateen did a good thing by doing this. I'm seeing way too many jokes about what happened, and to me that just shows that queer lives are not being taken seriously, and that we're also not being seen as real people. And for me, that is frightening. So I don't really have anything else to say. I'm really shaken up about this. This is not something I ever expected to hear about in my lifetime. And maybe that makes me naive, but who knows? Yeah. Hope everyone has a good night.